So I just a day earlier said this call to myself and to everything. If there was a way the world's supposed to be, show me how. And I didn't know what to expect from that. And I'd said that I'd give my all for it. And sitting in my room just a day later, and all of a sudden, the room was gone, and I was having this experience. I was in this enormous void. It was just black everywhere, and I was looking at what looked to be like my mind. There was all these little bubbles, which seemed to be like little thoughts. They were all kind of floating around, and these thoughts would bubble into each other, and every time a bubble hit each other, the colours and the speed of the bubbles would affect each other. So two slow bubbles would hit each other and then come off again. Or if there was a happy thought, it would go and then they'd both be sort of happy. And I was just looking at the millions and millions of thoughts in a mind, cruising around, all see, and that was all mostly kind of grey and just dull. And this just sort of represented your average kind of life, just cruising along, doing its thing. And so it just really felt like there's millions and millions of bits of every person all kind of working together. And then all of a sudden, just from out of nowhere, this huge, big, bright bubble. It was so bright, it was so fast and exhilarating, explodes into the middle of the mind. And it just came out of nowhere, and it felt like amazing. And when it went through the mind towards the centre, everywhere it left, it just left kind of rainbows of brightness in these bubbles. And then it exploded into the middle, and about 5 or 6 really bright little bubbles start zipping around, and everywhere they go, like of the millions of thoughts, it was just affecting like tens or hundreds to make these bright, happy thoughts everywhere. And then it would explode into a bubble, and then there'd be 2 bright ones zipping around. So, and then after a while, there was 20 bright ones zipping around, and then some bright ones would explode with each other, and like 10 ones would come out, and I'd be wow, and I'd just feel exhilarated that a happy thought or a positive transformation could like completely have such a huge effect. And it just got bigger and bigger. Like the more there was, the more it exploded. And I was just feeling amazed and like full of love and excitement. This was all happening in the space of a minute, and I was just like getting more and more exhilarated. And eventually, like the whole brain was just like beautiful colours swirling everywhere and brighter. And the more there were, the more it exploded. So eventually, like it was just the whole thing just became this giant ball of love and light. And when the entire thing with those bright lights, it just exploded out and became like this huge bubble around the mind, and that got bigger, and eventually my whole mind, as big as I could experience, it felt like the whole universe was just this glowing goodness. And I woke up and I was lying on my floor just wow. And I suddenly knew if I could find what that ball was, I would know how to transform the lives of everybody and make the world beautiful. And I also felt like every one of those little bubbles, even though that was a thought or a feeling, it also represented the world, and every single one of those bubbles was a person. So each person zipping around, affecting everyone around them. And sometimes amazing people meet each other and they make more amazingness happen. And as the beautiful, bright people work together, we can all make the world more and more wonderful, and eventually the whole world, every person, be a glowing ball of light.